early morning 60 gang. It's your boy Doug. I hope you guys have a blessed June the 9th, 2026. I'm out here on the grind. I'm headed to Palmetto, Georgia, which is south of Atlanta. But this morning we're gonna do something new on Interstate 20 East, where it connects to 285 South. There is a new overpass that has opened this week, and this will be my first time going over the overpass, so I thought I'd record it and take you with me. Oh yeah, Knicks, too many mistakes, too many turnovers, too many fouls, and you wonder why. Yes. So, till then, you gotta win one in San Antonio.
Got fired back with the truth after this panelist accused him of being cavalier.
I want to dispel this myth that federal employees are some lazy, bureaucrats that don't show up for their work. Listen, 85% of federal workers work outside of Washington, D.C. Those are people who work at our national parks. Those are people who work on, the ag departments in farm bureau states. Those are people who are taking care of Medicaid and processing payments for people in red states like where Donald Trump lives. So we need to stop being so cavalier, Scott, about people and whether they're working or not and how come they're so upset about getting an email. Because these are people's livelihoods.
Because some are being cavalier. You have the privilege
of sitting here getting a six-figure paycheck from CNN.
And I have to show up every day. And I have to show up and earn it. And I have to show up and earn it.
As public servants, and they do the same.
And I have to show up.
The fact that you assume that they don't is obnoxious and insulting to those people.
They're not showing up and earning it.
They're good servants.
Hold on.
President Trump just crashed the Knicks finals game and the roof got blown off Madison Square Garden. Roars as loud as anybody has ever heard in the arena. Were they booing or were they cheering? Well, we'll play you the clip. First, a little bit of background.
It's time to check out. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey Adam, this is Rico the artist in Seattle. I cannot believe I did not think of this rich man, poor man before. You're an unemployed artist. All right.
For one, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Just saying.
It doesn't mean five. And it doesn't mean four. It could mean one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. What do you got in the news department?
The thing that's giving everybody high blood pressure, not only here in California, but nationwide this week.
Mm-hmm.
Will he or won't he, we're speaking of Spencer Pratt, make it to the November General against Karen Bass? The decision desk over at Fox News has said no. They think it's going to be Nithya Raman. And the California Post over there is saying that diehard Spencer Pratt supporters are, of course, devastated by a late vote surge as the faith in the election process here in California has faltered.
Yeah, well, it always goes this way, so anyone from here isn't really surprised. Also, you have to figure that Nithya Raman, who's a dope, and Karen Bass is a dope. One's a socialist, the other's kind of a communist, I guess.
Not kind of. I think she actually trained with Marxists in Cuba.
Yeah, she's only... I do all this... I love all this stuff where it's like, I'm not into Fidel Castro. I've just been to Cuba 28 times. Like, okay, maybe you're into that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not into the Super Bowl. I've just been to the Super Bowl 28 times. Okay, maybe you're into the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever votes Karen Bass didn't get, if Nithya Raman would have dropped out, she'd just get the dopes that would vote for Nithya Raman in the runoff anyway. So that would have been tough.
The people who vote the D after the name. I don't know, though. I was saying for a long time, I think that if Spencer had made it through, there aren't enough Republicans here for him to win. That's just the way that the math works for us. Like, if every single Republican voter in the city of LA got out and voted for him, which they didn't, by the way, which is another rant for another day, then he still wouldn't have won. And he needed to get NPPs, independents, and Democrats. And we saw a lot of Democrats in some of the exit polling that I'd seen that went in and voted for Spencer on the mayoral level, and then they voted for a Democrat at the gubernatorial level.
Really?
And so
Interesting.
I think, though, if you'd given Spencer 5 more months between June and November, he would have won over a lot more voters, because you cannot ignore the crisis that our city is facing.
I agree. I do not think in 5 months Karen Bass would have debated him. I think she just would have said,
clip that and make it an ad. And
no,
you know what I mean?
I get it, but I'm saying there's such a super majority and they feel so.
This is the new overpass connection, 20 west to 285 south. This is the brand new overpass. It's my first time hitting it. It goes under the entrance ramp to Wesley Chapel, and then it goes kind of bears south to 285 north and does like a U-turn to 285 south. It separates us from Interstate 20 by a barrier. It actually is working real good because it took all the volume of the traffic going towards Atlanta. It kind of split it up from the traffic volume going towards the airport. And see, this is where Wesley Chapel entrance ramp can get onto 20 west on the left-hand side, and I'm bearing to the right-hand side to head towards 285 south. Looks like I'm going 285 north, but actually it's an overpass. It takes me up and over the connector. This is all brand new, guys. Going way up, way up, way up. We are in the trees. And it kind of overpasses 285 north and then crosses back over 285 south and then brings us into 285 south. Eliminated a lot of volume. It really thinned it out. Normally it'd be high volume stop and go traffic, but when they made this adjustment, it really took the volume down. As you see now, I'm headed 285 south. It really worked out. That was a good job.
And Republicans statistically haven't played it well here in the state, or let alone LA County, which I know Roxanne Hogue is working really hard to try to change that. But
who's Roxanne Hogue?
She's the LA County GOP chairwoman. You would love her. Literally escaped
I'm just
Jamaica.
because I don't think people know.
Oh yeah, gotta clarify.
But I will say this: we can argue over ID, and we can argue over ballot harvesting, and we can argue over sending out ballots to everyone and all this, or we can just go, it's election day, you vote, you show your ID, and that'll be that. Because here's the problem with voting in California. It's not that it's necessarily corrupt, although I'm sure parts of it are, but it enters into question what we're doing, and you can't have that when it comes to voting. So the one thing you can't have with voting is, did they really, or is that just, and I've told people this a million times, but I mean it, it's the problem with all the DEI shit, what we call affirmative action. The problem isn't that some underprivileged person or some underrepresented person got to Harvard. The real problem is everyone walking around Harvard and seeing like a young black chick walking through the quad going, is she really supposed to be here, or is she just a recipient?
Which is antithetical to them wanting equality and like earning their way.
Right. So the problem is the rest of the nation going, is California, is this really on the up and up, or is it? And
the only reason they're paying attention now, which I'm kind of glad that they are, is because everybody was so interested in Spencer.
Right. Stalin's quote was great. Heard it a few times over the last few days. Those who vote decide nothing. Those who count the vote decide everything. And yes, that is true.
Which is why we need lawyers and volunteers and paid election employees that are there to like make sure the process is done well. But it does start with changing the actual system. And we've been able to do this like motor voter situation since 2012. And it's taken a long time for the rest of the country to realize, oh shit, this is a bad idea. And maybe we should care about this, because liberal policies and progressive ideas that are tried and tested here in California end up going to every single red and purple state across the country.
And the other thing too is it disenfranchises people in the sense that, I'll put it to you this way. We'll go back to the great Jerry Seinfeld, who declared me one of the greatest comedians of the 21st century. I don't know if you heard that. Here's a thought experiment. If they said, we're having a Super Bowl party, or we're watching the Super Bowl, and you went, okay, I'll watch the Super Bowl. What day is it? Sunday. Oh, what's it start? 3:30. Okay. But we're not going to know who won the Super Bowl for like 26 days afterward. I go, I don't know if I want to involve myself. I don't think I'm coming to the party. Meaning, do you really want to vote if you're not going to find out if your vote counted or the person you voted for until a month later? I think it creates a lot of apathy.
It does. And the top two system, which was the idiotic idea of Republicans at the time, also creates apathy, because for so long, because Democrats outnumber Republicans by a massive margin, Republicans are like, well, if it's going to be two Democrats, why would I even vote in June?
Right.
And so there's that factor that has a major, and then it's just, I think that people humans can be very apathetic naturally because we like the easy way. Well, it turns out it's not easy if you keep voting in idiots that let needles be at your playground and a person a day OD in MacArthur Park. But
there's a video from 2010, by the way, with Lawrence O'Donnell talking about Kamala Harris, which should be interesting, from 16 years ago.
4 weeks after the November 2nd election, California finally has declared a winner in the Attorney General race. Harris finished so close to her Republican opponent that it took a month to finish counting every vote. She won by less than 1 percentage point.
Sorry, America.
Yeah.
1 percentage point.
Well, we'll never know if she actually won by that much. But then, again, you brought it into question because of these tactics, and we need to get back to you cast a vote. And also, look, everybody, I don't want to hear about COVID. I don't want to hear about some people live too far away from. Just fucking figure it out.
Turns out there's precincts and precinct locations that are typically within the area of which you live.
There was, when I used to live up in the hills in Hollywood, they just had the Oakwood apartment, whatever's down there, and they'd set up in someone's garage, and you'd be going down the hill, and you just stop in and vote, and then you'd keep driving, and it's pretty
school auditoriums.
Done it. The church, done it. The school. Easy to do. Works every time. Don't know what they're talking about. But then again, I'm suspicious because the people who are pushing all this stuff all the time are also the people that are winning in this fashion using these techniques. So it makes me suspicious.
Because they spend weeks and weeks and months paying operatives to go ballot harvest at nursing homes and at high propensity Democratic voter addresses and become friendly and be like, oh, do you need help with your ballot? Would you like me to drop off your ballot? I know you're an invalid. You're an 80-year-old woman that once marched with the feminists in San Francisco. So let me take that ballot in for you, times hundreds of ballots. That's why there's the quote unquote late drop in ballots for Nithya Raman. But
Dawson, when I was offending Jerry Seinfeld with my Larry David analogy and Bill Belichick, I feel like that was a legitimate statement.
Yeah, I think so.
You don't remember.
Now, Dawson, pretend that you aren't paid by Adam,
that when you reach equal heights with someone, y'all helped each other, and one retires and the other one goes on to do it again. It's like, come on, man. Is that what you're talking about?
I was saying,
I think it's a good analogy. I just don't think Jerry has the same mindset you do.
How many people do?
Curb your enthusiasm being so funny and so.
So how old is this person who's eligible to vote here inside the United States, inside the state of California?
126 based on the Secretary of State.
And this is Doris.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see if Doris is home. Are you Doris?
She's right here. Yes.
Hello, Doris.
Okay, so they found a lady named Doris that was on the voter rolls that was supposedly 126 years old. So that's the first way that you find fraud, is you check the age.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
We're just going through the voting rolls here, and we're just confirming anybody who's above the age of 100 years old. And right here it says you're 126 years old.
No, you got the wrong house. That's a lie.
Are you Doris Wood?
Yeah, but you got the wrong house. I'm Doris, but you got the wrong place. That's the wrong information, all that stuff. No, that's wrong.
Oh, here, I can show you if you like.
No, It's just that it's wrong.
How come you think here in California they're just messing up on all these voting rolls here?
I don't know, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it says you voted in 51 elections, Doris.
No, not me.
Really?
I'm not no 100-something years old.
I know.
I said I wasn't.
So, a 126-year-old woman who voted in 51 elections, clearly her name is being used by fraudsters, and they know that she's not going to check it out. I don't know how old she is. She's not 126 years old. She did not vote in 51 elections.
You want to make sure you're not 126 years old?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, it really does say you're 126 years old here.
No.
Says,
who did this? You'd be 126. That don't even make sense.
I know. That's what the Secretary of State says.
Well, the Secretary of State is wrong.
Okay, well.
Put it like this. I was born in 1940.
Born in 1940. So what is that? 80? She's 86. So someone is using her name and then filling out fake ballots on her behalf. Nick Shirley is on the job, on the ground there in California. Donald Trump on Spencer Pratt today, losing the mayor race, or it's not confirmed yet. There's still more mail-in ballots to go. It completely turned against him when the mail-in ballots dumped in. I got another video today at 5 o'clock that'll explain all of that. Trump says it's not possible for Spencer Pratt to have lost the LA runoffs after the big lead he had. Third world nation, rigged elections. Now they'll be working on the great guy, Steve Hilton, who's running for governor to take Gavin Newsom's seat. Won't have results for possibly 2 weeks, according to officials, President Donald Trump. Now, my favorite response to this, you know how I like Stephen A. Smith. Most people are not aware of the California rules that it is illegal to check ID. Stephen A. Smith's about to learn a lesson.
The fact that we don't have voter ID in places like California is extremely unusual in democracies across the globe. There's maybe like 2 or 3 democracies in the world that don't have it. This is just kind of like a standard administrative requirement in a well-functioning democracy. So I think we should just have it. We should get this over. We should move on with our lives. It shouldn't be a big controversial issue.
Excuse me for being so ignorant, asking last question. This is definitely my last question. What do you mean you don't have voter ID in California? Could you please elaborate specifically on that to our audience that may not know?
Yeah, California does not have voter ID. You don't need to present it to register. You don't need to present it to vote. As a matter of fact, the state passed a law forbidding voter ID. So cities, counties, if they
forbidding
want ID, they're not allowed to under state law.
What? When did that happen?
A couple of years ago, because I think it was Orange County. They wanted to have their own requirements, so the state passed a law saying, no, you're not allowed to. Voter ID is not only not required, it is actively forbidden.
I've never seen his eyes jump out of his head that big. He's shocked. What do you mean California is such a dump that it's illegal to check for ID?
Well, that's what it is right there. That's why the SAVE Act been proposed. Right there, the state of California. That's what the Republicans going to lean on as an excuse to definitely push forth the SAVE Act. Right there. Right there. Right there. I can't believe it. I didn't even know that, sir. I'm embarrassed to admit.
Well, now you know the game, Stephen A. Smith, and your party that you're going to vote for supports it. What do you think, Stephen A. Smith? Why do you think they don't have voter ID in California?
There's a lot of crazy things going on in California, but I think, you are seeing a return to sanity in some ways, and I see it Democrats, Republicans, and independents in California who are saying, we need to do some things differently in this state.
By the way, last thing, that no voter eligibility required. That's Gavin Newsom. Last 2 years, that was Gavin Newsom.
Correct. Well, so the law saying that a locality cannot have its own voter ID requirement. That was Newsom.
There you go. That was Newsom. That's all I needed to know. Thank you, sir. Representative Kevin Colley, right?
All you needed to know, are you going to vote for that party, Stephen A. Smith?
Stephen A., really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Good luck moving forward. Know that you're always welcome to come back here anytime, sir. Anytime.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck moving forward.
Colley right here with Stephen A. Straight Shooter with Stephen A. Sirius XM POTUS Radio, Channel 124. I can't believe that last part. I thought every state, I mean, small bit for me. I thought every state just showed that I did. But little did I know. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, little did you know. This is most Democrats right here. And Stephen A. Smith is a pretty smart cookie. Up next, the Trump administration is expected to announce Monday, today, it will seek to denaturalize 17 individuals accused of immigration fraud. Guys, this is the most people accused of immigration fraud that we've ever deported. So this is, I think, something of a breakthrough.
CBS News exclusive, the Trump administration is planning to revoke the citizenship of at least 17 U.S. citizens. Administration officials say they are accused of immigration fraud. The DOJ says it's the largest ever effort by the U.S. government to use its denaturalization powers. CBS immigration correspondent Camilo Montoya Gavaz is live with more. So this is very unusual, Camilo.
It is.
What are these people being accused of, and what is the legal framework for this?
Good morning, guys. Just to level set, between 1990 and 2017, the Justice Department filed, on average, just 11 denaturalization cases per year. Now, through this effort, the Trump administration over the past few days is filing 17 efforts across the country in federal courts throughout the U.S. to denaturalize 17 foreign-born naturalized American citizens who are being accused of immigration fraud.
In 30 years, we've only denaturalized 11 people. And Trump, in 1 year, he's just now doing 17.
The Justice Department is arguing that they concealed their criminal activity and conduct when they applied for American citizenship. So some of these individuals are from countries like Cuba, Colombia, and Haiti. They became naturalized American citizens over the past decade. And according to the Justice Department, they did not reveal that they were engaging in criminal conduct like sex crimes against children or immigration fraud, wire fraud, or even healthcare fraud when they applied for American citizenship. Importantly,
why would they tell us all that? They'd never be able to vote then. Stephen A. Smith, child trafficking people is your party. They're trying to protect him, to cancel out the votes of my American patriot audience. These people this is awful.
If the DOJ's efforts are successful, the people at question here will be returning to permanent U.S. residency status, and then they can be deported back to their native countries.
Wow. So you mentioned just the context at the beginning, which is more people are now being denaturalized in the last few days than in the last decade.
Yes, that alone is the good news today. Thank you, Trump. Get to work. Something tells me there's a few million more of these criminals that have to get deported. And it makes me sick. Are you guys sick yet? Want to hear from Spencer Pratt after, he's starting to trail now in his mayoral race? Watch this.
If elected, he'll enlist the IRS to audit the city government.
So as mayor, I have a good relationship with the IRS criminal investigation team. First week, I'm bringing them in.
We could have had the IRS investigating California fraud. Can you guys tell me why California has an incentive for this guy not to win his mayorship? He just went to third place. That other lady got all these votes dumped into her. A Democrat that was in third place against Karen Bass is now predicted to win. This guy got completely screwed. You stick your neck out and you're done in California. They're going to try to ruin this guy. And if there's anyone in California who hasn't mailed in a ballot, man, I would fill it out now and mail it in. Yes, even if it's too late.
All the books. Open this up. Let's see all the corruption.
If elected, he'll enlist the IRS to audit.
Yeah, the IRS. The IRS are so corrupt. Who's going to investigate them? Let's see. This is James Comer posted this one. This one cracked me up. This is just a little bonus cookie here at the end. Democrats do not want to talk about fraud. They want to talk about the Epstein files.
So, Chair Comer, there was a subpoena for the now former secretary, and she did not testify under both are in a committee hearing where everybody could see what it was. And now that was about the Epstein files, I think, and you allowed her to testify.
Who are you talking about now? Who are you talking about now? I thought you were talking about Christy Nolan.
I think I was going to go to the fact that we need to have you had any oversight of some of these contracts that appear to be quite fraudulent and doing it in a way that would allow the American public to see what the answers are. And I think it is relevant because whether or not you're complying with congressional law, and the Epstein Transparency Act is congressional law, and you allowed her to testify.
Are we talking about fraud? What are we talking about? I don't think you understand what we're talking about here. We're talking about fraud.
I'm talking about oversight. I'm talking about oversight.
Oversight of fraud. We're talking about taxpayer dollars. We're talking about fraud. This bill has to do with fraud. This is something that's a foreign concept. The Democrats, you just want to keep spending more money. You don't care about the poor, hardworking Americans who spend 40% of their paycheck on taxes and are sick and tired of their money being wasted by fraudsters. That's what this bill's about.
Guess what, Comer? They don't care about the child victims in the Epstein files either. Democrats protected all their own people. And then they go and they attack Trump's administration and prevent them from removing arresting actual current child traffickers. And in the last one on the Supreme Court has allowed Trump to remove illegal child traffickers. They're removing 17 of them from the country. We've only done 11 since 1990. So one party cares. The other party does not care. This lady with the ankh around her neck, or whatever that Egyptian witchy stuff is around her.
How about inspectors general? My God, where have the inspectors general been on all this fraud? They got fired. This fraud's been happening. If you ain't firing I would fire them all and hire new ones that are going to use AI technology to get fraud. All you all do is kiss the butts of the federal employees. You don't want to fire anybody. Christy Nolan,
I think she just kisses the butts. I don't think they're even so discriminate.
I agree with what you're saying. She got fired. She should have gotten fired. And anybody that defrauds the taxpayer should get fired. You all never fired anybody. And you're talking about the pardons. The last president who we investigated pardoned his whole family, and you all didn't say a word. You giggle all you want. The Americans.
Yeah, she thinks it's funny. Biden promised he wouldn't pardon Hunter Biden, and then he pardoned Hunter Biden.
And people are fed up. You're going to be in for a shock, I think, when you see how angry the people are at fraud and the Democrats' lack of doing nothing.
Now, not in California, you're not going to be shocked. Because California, they're voting for their corrupt leaders to come back, the Democrat corrupt leaders. And you guys know I love California. I'm in love with California. It'll always be home to me. They had a chance. They could have changed the trajectory. And they said, no, keep bringing in the homeless and the poo on the streets and the needles, dirty needles everywhere. Massive homeless population, massive voter fraud. Just raise the taxes. Don't allow rebuilding of the Palisades. Do not build. They can't even build that train, the light rail to nowhere. They cannot build anything. They can't control energy. They can't attract businesses. No business. They'd be committing suicide going to California running a business. Now he's claiming, this goes back to the California fraud stuff and the elections. Comer is confident that the American people are going to be smart enough to figure it out. Spencer Pratt was confident that they'll be able to audit the IRS and that the people will figure it out. Have some faith, guys. I know that California's in the dirt. I don't see how it can get worse. But Californians, if they screw that state into the ground, man, every single Democrat rich elite, I never want to hear you complain or cry about it, including when your house gets burned down and you can't rebuild it. You voted for it.
I mean, it's just